and they win the NFC South.
What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. Back in the city, back in the 813 from Buffalo, New York. If you guys do follow me, as you know, this week is definitely a little bit different from most weeks. Usually Monday I have my reaction. That didn't happen. Tuesday I have my film session. That didn't happen. Today's usually an episode of Ops going into the next opponent. Kind of happening, not really. Today's going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to be going... Today's, I guess, more of a podcast type style rather than like a video with one specific point. I'm going to be going over my Buffalo experience, and then we'll transition into a sort of quick preview of Bucs and Rams. Life's just been busy. Tomorrow I have a family dinner I have to attend, and yeah, it's a lot going on right now. Just coming back from vacation and things like that too. So let's go ahead and jump into it, talking about my Buffalo experience first. So let's start with this city. I'm jealous of, not the city itself. I don't think I saw the sun for 4 days, but the people and the passion and the culture that they have surrounding their football team. And what I mean by that is born and raised in Tampa, lived here all 25 years of my life, don't plan on going anywhere. It's different. This is a place where people come to vacation. This is a place where people maybe buy a second home for the winter time because they don't want to be in the Northeast. This is maybe a place where people retire, find some good weather, find a more relaxing lifestyle. This is maybe a place where people just looking for new opportunity, something different from the Northeast. Or it's just, they say, yeah, let's go to Florida, let's go to Tampa. Buffalo's not that. If you live in Buffalo, you're from Buffalo. That's what I gathered when I was there. If you go into a Target in Tampa, you might see a couple Bucs shirts, but you might also see someone wearing a Philly shirt or a Steelers shirt or a Bears shirt or a Giants shirt or a Jets shirt or anything from that Midwest Northeast area. You'll see some Bucs stuff, but you'll see a person with this, a person with that, a person with that. I landed on Friday in Buffalo, New York. The first place I went to was a Target just because I'm like, let me just get some water, things like that, groceries too. I'm there for 4 days. I need some things to keep in the Airbnb. When I tell you, I go into that Target and 65% of the customers in that store were wearing Bills gear. And that doesn't mean like 65% like where I'm talking about like the situation in Tampa where let's say 65% are wearing Bucs stuff and then maybe 10% is wearing this, 10% is wearing that, 10% is wearing that. No. 65% of the clothing in general had a Bills logo on it. Like that level of passion. Whether it was a hat, a jacket, a hoodie, a shirt, anything. 65% of the people is what I would guess were wearing a piece of clothing, a piece of memorabilia with something Buffalo Bills themed on it. And that was my first cue of like, oh, they represent here. They represent here in Buffalo. First part that I was jealous about. Number two, obviously I'm on vacation. I'm not really cooking meals. So I'm going to breakfast, I'm going to lunch, I'm going to dinner, I'm going to bars. Every single establishment that I went to had Bills jerseys, Sabres, Buffalo Sabres jerseys, signage all over the walls. Every single place I went to. That was number two. The second thing I was jealous of. Number three is the parents. I'm not jealous of this, but this was my third point where like, yeah, they're different. They are passionate about their team. Number three was the parents know what they're doing. The parents know what they're doing. Once again, I was there Friday, landed Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday, came back Tuesday. That's a good amount of time to be in a city. Remember, I'm walking around downtown, going to this place, going to that place, trying this restaurant, going to, you know what I'm saying? I maybe saw two children, let's say ages 10 and under, that were not wearing something Bills. Like I'm being straight up. I'm being serious. Being there for, let's call it, 4 days total. 2 kids the entire time. On the second day, I was like, am I going to see a kid that's not wearing a Bills hat or a Bills shirt? Am I going to see it? Yeah. The parents know what they're starting them way down there. You're wearing Bills stuff. You're a Bills fan. You're going to grow up with this. You're going to be passionate about this the same way I am. So those were my 3 cues. Did not take me long to notice that this is a very respectable blue-collar city that is very passionate about their culture, their football team, things like that. All right, so moving into game day itself. So I wake up on game day, check the weather, and the temperature is 38 degrees with about 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now, I'm a Tampa boy. I'm a Florida boy. I maybe got one heavy jacket in that closet, and it's like brown. I'm like, no, I'll be okay, right? I'll be fine. So I'm like, let me throw on this Duvin jacket, Bucs collab, that I've been waiting to wear. This thing is so nice, but there's no reason for me to wear it in Tampa. This thing's so nice. I'm gonna wear this. It's not thick, by the way. I had a t-shirt, 2 long sleeve shirts, and then that jacket. Thought that would be enough. No one told me about the wind. No one warned me. I can go out in 38 degrees and in that outfit and be fine in Tampa with no wind, 38 degrees. I'll be fine. Whoa. Those 30 mile an hour. Whoa. I'll get to that. All right, so got my outfit ready to go. Driving over to the stadium. It's about 15 to 20 minutes, I'd say, outside of Buffalo itself. So I get to the area, and I'm looking around for parking lots, and there's nothing. All there is people's front yards and side yards where they're like, yeah, come park here for $60, $70. I'm like, what the hell? What? 60, 70? And it's like a 15-minute walk from the... What? Apparently that's my only option. That's because their new stadium is being built on their parking lot for the old stadium. So, yeah, these people, these houses, they're taking full advantage of, yeah, come park here because you got nowhere else to park. So I'm like, okay, I guess I got to just bite the bullet. I pull into someone's front yard, and they're like, $60 cash. I'm like, I got $40. You take Cash App? You take Venmo? Anything? It's 2025. No. Of course not. Of course not. So, got to back out, go to an ATM, get more money, go back to the place, pay my $60 to park in their front yard, and it was just, they're like, can we have your car keys? I'm like, for what? In case we need to move your car. I was just so fed up with it at that point that I'm just like, I'm driving a rental too. I'm like, yeah, sure, take my keys. I'm just like, I'm ready to be done with this. I want to start drinking. I want to start tailgating, getting ready for this game. Like, I'm not trying to do all this. Parking was an absolute mess. Moving on from that. You know, having some drinks, everything's all good. By the way, the people were very sweet. The people were very respectable. They got me my keys back, no problem. It was no issues. It was not what I'm used to. I'm used to driving into a Buccaneers parking lot where there are parking attendants and security cameras watching your car on like the light poles and like, you know, just different. But the people were very cool, very sweet, very nice. Tailgating was not what I expected. Obviously, they had the tents out, you know, they had the food going, the drinks going, but I didn't see any tables being jumped through. I didn't see any craziness that, you know, you hear about when you think of Bills Mafia. I was walking through, maybe it was just me, maybe I was in the wrong areas. I didn't see anything. Not that I wanted to jump through a table myself, but I wanted to, you know, just laugh, have fun, and just didn't see that. But everyone that was tailgating, cool, gave good vibes. You know, I could obviously tell I was not from Buffalo, wearing my Bucs gear and looking as cold as I did. Everyone was super nice. So that's tailgating. Not quite what I expected. So I make my 15-minute walk to that stadium, walk up to it, and you know how all stadiums have like flags at the top? Those flags are just... I'm like, dang, I'm cold down here, and my seat's in the second level. I'm done. I am done. And on that 15-minute walk, a couple of Buffalo people like came up to me. They're like, "Man, I love that jacket. Is it custom?" Like things like that. And after they would finish, like, "Are you sure you're gonna be warm enough?" I'm just like, I don't know. I got it on though. I got it on. I don't know if I'm gonna be warm enough, but I got it on though. So walking into the stadium, you can tell it's old. This stadium was built opened in 1973, so that's 50 something odd years based on what I just looked up here on my computer. You can tell it is old. You can tell it's from the 70s, but I honestly I lean more towards that. When I'm looking for places to go, when I'm looking to visit away stadiums, I look at Lambeau. I look at this place. So that's definitely more where I lean. My thing isn't like, oh yeah, I want to go to Allegiant. Yeah, I want to go to SoFi. I definitely lean more towards that side, and that's why I ended up there, because it was their last year. Currently is their last year in that stadium. So I was like, let me go check it out. Ton of history, 50 some odd years worth of history. Like that's a lot. That's a lot, and you can feel a little bit in there. You know, I get to my seats. It's bleachers, but they at least have the seat backs. When you go to Lambeau, it's only bleachers. With no seat backs. So I get to my seat and I'm just sitting there. I'm definitely cold, but I'm doing fine so far. And everyone around me, super nice. No one's talking trash, anything like that. You know, ask people if they can take some pictures of me and my girlfriend. Everyone was, you know, cool. Very nice people. Game begins. We're in the first quarter now. There's some big moments, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's touchdowns. Bucs had an interception early, Jacob Parrish. And I'm like, it's a football game. Like, I'm getting up, I'm yelling, I'm clapping my hands on big third downs. I'm like getting hyped, things like that. Like, this is what you do at a football game. Like, Raymond James Stadium is not known for this crazy atmosphere, and this is what we do at Raymond James Stadium. Big third downs. Bucs fans, the real Bucs fans, are standing up, getting loud, doing their thing. I'm doing that there in Buffalo. And about halfway through the first quarter, I start to hear from a couple rows behind me, "Tampa, sit down. Tampa, sit down." And I just ignore it for a little bit because I'm like, for real? Bills Mafia is telling me to calm down? I thought y'all were the crazy ones. I can't stand up on a third down? This isn't a third down on the 50-yard line. This is a third down in like the red zone. Like, I thought that was just standard. This isn't a first down on the 30. This is big moments in the game. I just thought that was normal. I don't know if it was just where I was sitting. Once again, just like the tailgates, I don't know if I was walking through the wrong areas. I just did not get that Bills Mafia vibe that you hear about, that you kind of envision in your head. They're crazy. They're crazy. They're passionate, but like crazy? I can't stand up on a third down without someone trying to like tell me to sit down. Why are me and my girlfriend, the two Tampa fans, the only one like, this is a big moment in the game. Like, y'all not standing up? So I thought that was interesting. I eventually was just like, I've heard enough. I'm just going to stay seated and stand up for the big moments, like when the Bucs get an interception, when the Bucs score a touchdown. So that was definitely interesting. I was like, really? Bills Mafia is telling a Bucs fan, like a fan base that isn't known for being crazy, like Raymond James is not this crazy atmosphere, me to sit down? Weird, but okay. But yeah, like I said earlier in the video, 38 degrees, 35 mile per hour wind gusts, and it got to me. It eventually got to me. After halftime, I was done. It was over. I was like there watching the game, but I really was not there. I seriously, later that night, I had to go back and re-watch parts of the game, highlights, things like that, to be like, because I for real could not even remember how did that happen? How did Josh Allen do that? What was I couldn't remember. I was straight up in like a cold, freezing coma. And all the Bills fans around me were, they took note. They were very aware, and people were like take these hand warmers. Like, I used hand warmers once in my life, and it was at Lambeau Field, where Packers fans gave me hand warmers. I clearly forgot those existed and went into Buffalo without hand warmers. So they're like, yeah, you just shake them up, put in your gloves. Helped a little bit, but once again, like, I was out of it. But that whole second half, I was done. Like, I could not barely remember big moments in that game. Like, I was straight up in like a cold coma. Drinks might have helped too, but yeah. Everyone around me super cool. Not one person talked trash. Not one person got on me about being a Tampa fan. Everyone was super nice. It just wasn't what I expected. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun. Game was fantastic in terms of just like it being generally a good game. But just wasn't what I expected in terms of like, I don't know. I just had that envisioning in my head of like, oh, these people are going to go crazy. These people are going to be wild. They're going to be standing the whole game. Like when I go to Lambeau, you know, let's get into this. I've been to enough stadiums now at this point. I'm at 6, and Hard Rock Stadium later this season will be my 7th. If you're going to that game, hit me up. Bucs, Dolphins. I've been to enough stadiums at this point where I can put together a little bit of a tiny ranking. So at number 1, I have Packers Lambeau. Like I said, I prefer the historic vibe, and the Packers is absolutely that. It should, if you are an NFL fan, it needs to be on your bucket list. You need to go at some point. It is that special. It is, I can't explain it. Just go. There's only bleachers, there's no seat backs, and that's because everyone's standing the entire game. That was different. That was fun. That was special. Then number 2, I go a more recent, more futuristic stadium. The Falcons, Mercedes-Benz. Those prices play a big deal. You can get an alcoholic beverage for $9. They're like just different, and I had a really good time there in week 1 this season. Number 3 is the Saints. It's a stadium, even when they're not good. I went last year in that Sean Tucker game. They weren't very good, but that stadium got loud. Those people were passionate. They're dancing around, like, very fun time. Then number 4, I have the Bills. I love the historic aspect, and I do like the atmosphere. It just wasn't, I wouldn't say it was crazier than a game at Raymond James Stadium. Like, that blows my mind to say. 5, I have the Bucs. If you follow my channel for a long time, I have my own issues with the Bucs environment at Raymond James Stadium and fans not doing enough, and the in-stadium announcers PA not doing it. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. And 6 was the Panthers. That was, yeah. So definitely was a good time. And I definitely, not anytime soon. I don't think I need to go back to Buffalo within the next 5 years, but I definitely would like to get back to Buffalo at some point to check out their new stadium. Seems like it's going to be something special technology-wise. So that'll be really interesting to see in a complete 180 from what they have now with this more historic stadium. 32 points is enough to win a football game, especially if you're on the road. Defense has to do much better job than that. Like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into it because you guys have probably listened and heard other things now at this point, but let's jump a little bit into the Rams. Definitely a team that does scare me a bit, not just because of how good they are this year, but it's the Rams, and they always just seem to have our number. They have won their last 8 out of 10 games against us. You have the 1979 NFC Championship game in their back pocket. You have the Burt Emanuel game in their back pocket. That's just one of those teams. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of the Rams. And it's not like I hate them the same way I hate the Eagles and the Saints, because I have like back and forths with their fan bases. I've never even met a Rams fan in my life, but their team just always has the Bucs number. And this year they have another fantastic team, continuing to be led by Sean McVay. It's like, oh, Aaron Donald's gone? Cool. We're going to just, continue to have one of, if not the best front 7 in the entire NFL. It's like, okay, must be nice. Jared Verse, just plug and play him. He's going to be a stud immediately. Byron Young, again, the other rusher. So you got 2 great edge rushers on both sides. Wirfs and Gedeke, both going to be having a handful there. Kobe Turner, Poona Ford, Braden Fisk. Even their linebackers, Landman's been a huge pickup for them. in the secondary. Their secondary was fantastic last week against Sam Darnold, who's been so good this year. Sam Darnold last week, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing aggressive, playing confident. Kobe Durant on one side, Emmanuel Forbes kind of resurrecting is the word I'm looking for. What went wrong for him in Washington, he comes to LA and is kind of trying to resurrect that, and it's working out for them. Quentin Lake did just get put on IR, I believe, so he will not be seen Sunday night. Yeah, it's a tough. You think of the Rams and you think of the offense, but my goodness, that defense is tough. So Wirfs and Gadecki, like I said, going to have their hands full. And that interior, even with Poona Ford, Kobe Turner, like they're going to have their hands full as well. They did a pretty good job in my eyes against the Buffalo Bills, but this is a different beast. What they bring defensively, stopping the pass, stopping the run, all of that. Mayfield going to have to be on his game. Still going to have to wait to see with Bucky Irving, Chris Godwin. Do we finally see a return? Do we finally get some help health-wise on offense? I didn't think Grizzard's game plan was terrible against Buffalo. I don't think it was amazing either. But it was much improved from what we saw the week before. We can at least give it that and acknowledge that. Flipping to the other side, their offense has been just as good as their defense have been. Matthew Stafford's the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL. Puka Nacua, number 2 rated wide receiver in the NFL. You got Devontae Adams on the other side still doing his thing. Seen a lot about Devontae Adams and how they currently have a unstoppable play pretty much on the Rams, on the goal line. Of whether Devontae Adams just does a quick slant, does a fade route, or they hand it off to Kyron Williams, the way they use their tight ends. Which, by the way, Tyler Higbee also placed on IR. And while I'm at it, Havenstein also placed on IR. So those are 3 guys that they will be missing going into this game. A team that's been pretty healthy overall is starting to see a little bit of injury-related news come their way. Rest of their offensive line, as you can see, graded very well. But I think that also does play a factor with Matthew Stafford. He's been reading things perfectly. The best quarterback in the NFL so far when teams do not blitz. And then when teams do blitz, he's eating them alive while he just has the most touchdowns in the NFL against the blitz. So you have the best passer rating when teams aren't blitzing, and then you have the most touchdowns in the NFL when teams do blitz. They're a wagon right now. And we are in the midst of that, what now has become, ever since pretty much Baker's got here. I don't think it's on Baker, but since Baker's got here, this yearly mid-season lull where 2023 it happened, 2024 it happened, and now it's happening again. Losing 3 of their last 4, going Lions, beat the Saints, lose to the Patriots, lose to the Bills, and now you got this wagon to go through on prime time. And then you have the whole fact of McVay's kind of had Todd Bowles' number a lot more often than not. There was one game in 2022, if you guys remember that correctly, where the Bucs won like 16-3 at Raymond James Stadium. Matthew Stafford did not have a good day. Let me pull that game up, actually, because that was the one time that we got the best of the LA Rams. So here we go. Bucs win 16-13. Matthew Stafford went 13 for 27, 1 touchdown. Darrell Henderson, remember that name. Obviously, they're now on to a much more talented back. No disrespect to Darrell Henderson, Memphis legend. But yeah, Tom Brady threw the ball 36 of 58, 1 touchdown. Rashad White had 8 carries. Man. Like I was saying, definitely McVay's had Todd Bowles' number. If we're going to spin this, try and come up with some hypotheticals, Kyle Shanahan has also had Todd Bowles' number. Bucs got the best of him this year. This is really the last major matchup on the Bucs schedule, the last measuring stick on the Bucs schedule. Yeah, the Panthers are kind of sneaking up. They're not even sneaking up. They're there. They are right behind us. They are where my chair is. They are right behind us in terms of the standings. So it's no longer the Panthers are sneaking up on the Bucs. No, they're there. They are there. So we got 2 more matchups with the Panthers, which I still don't view them in that way where it's like, oh yeah, it's a big test. This is the last big test of the season, and it's a big NFC matchup. I'd love to see if the Bucs can get Bucky back and Chris Godwin back and kind of see what that looks like. But man, after that, you got the Cardinals, you got the Saints, you got the Falcons without Michael Penix, which might be a bad thing because you know what Kirk Cousins does to Todd Bowles' defenses. And you got the Dolphins. So, if we're going to spin it, like, we're 6-4. We lose this, we're 6-5, and then we have 6 games where we're going to be favored in every single one of them. I really want to win this game. This is the least confident I've gone into a game so far this season. Just with the way this team is playing, the way this defense looked last week, going up against Matthew Stafford. Oof. That's going to be it for me, though. Please leave your comments down below. Thoughts on this Rams game going into Sunday Night Football, prime time, all of that stuff. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Go Bucs. Y'all have a blessed one.